Previously on Dark Age of Man, A Bleak Winter.
We're going out to hunt Mort's men.
You follow me. I know a man who can lead us.
I tap the end of my bow on Rolf's chest and I say, you need to return back to the stockade and find John.
Before you approach, you can just look
It's
over
dark?
and see it's dark. There's no lamps in the windows. The inn itself is dark, but you spot out the window torches in the distance. You can see a group of torches.
And just saying, my God, please, why show me what I'm supposed to do? How am I supposed to help these people?
Are doing your baptisms. We will be there, brother. We're gonna go now to Sylvester. Now, you're seeing the move. It's been about 40 minutes and no Rolf, right? Come back with the horses. They have gotten very close to the house. However, they don't appear to know anything about the wagon. It's like they're stopped maybe 25 yards from the crossroads, and you can see the torches, and then you see them kind of break off. 3 or 4 of them go west, a couple of them go east, and 2 of them come toward Washburn Arms.
Marcus and I, we will make our way downstairs before they can actually get to the front of the building. We are going to, so that downstairs, standard inn kind of like style setup.
Right.
I'm going to tell Marcus that he is to stay upstairs, but to gain a vantage point where he can see the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I will go downstairs behind the bar with the 2 dogs.
Okay.
And just kind of wait, head just a little bit above the bar so I can actually see. Oh, before I do that, I am going to make sure that the front door is shut. Not barred. I'm going to leave it the way we found it.
Right.
But then hurry back around behind the bar, just kind of looking over the top of it, arrow ready to go in the bow, just kind of waiting to see who comes in that front door. Hoping it's going to be Martin by chance, but we'll see.
Yeah. It is Martin as he comes in. However, he's someone with him you do not recognize, cloaked.
As the door comes open, is Martin the first? Can I see by his silhouette that
Yeah,
it's
he's
Martin?
leading the way. Like, it's
Okay.
his establishment. He's leading them in.
I'm gonna kind of duck quickly down below the door. Marcus kind of has the same instructions. Don't do anything until I do.
And he invites this person in. They say something in Gaelic that do you understand Gaelic? Yeah,
I have no idea what it sounds like jabber to me.
Well, you recognize that it is a version of old Celtic, old Gaelic language, but it's
No
ancient. The gentleman with him, as you peek over the bar, the dogs, of course, I'm assuming they know to stay, right?
Stay quiet. Does the tone of the conversation sound friendly?
Yes, friendly. However, Martin takes a subordinate role to this stranger in the cloak with the hood. You recognize it as someone who's spent time hunting, etc. Druid beads, druid teeth, etc. He's got an old dagger and a staff. This is some kind of pagan priest or something, and he is deferring to him as if he's being given orders.
Where does it sound like where's the movement going in the room? I mean, if it sounds
it's like they just came in the door, and it's like they're standing in the middle of the tables, empty tables, like they're just standing in the middle of the room.
They're just standing in the middle of the room having their conversation. I'm not going to do anything unless it sounds like that someone is going to walk around the bar where they can see me kneeling back here. Other than that, I'm going to stay here and just kind of listen, even though I can't understand what's being said.
Shortly, the druid leaves. I mean, he actually leaves Washburn. He leaves the Arms out, shuts the door, and you hear Martin shifting tables and things around, mumbling to himself.
How much light is now kind of in this little pub area? Is it kind of dimly lit?
No, he just had the torch. So it's lighting the 5 feet around him, 6 feet around him. Yeah.
So when I hear him kind of shuffling around, a little far away from me, I'll go ahead and stand up, but I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna be standing there watching him. I'll have the bow and the arrow, or make it apparent that I have it up.
Right.
But it's not drawn for him.
Do you want him to see you, or is this kind of
no, I'm gonna wait for him to notice me.
Okay.
So eventually he's gonna be making his way around the room, and then
it spooks the shit out of him to see you standing there with these dogs. He's surprised. He steps back. and he squints forward and his torch. Sylvester, is that you? The hounds. You don't know each other very well, but again,
Yeah.
you would have been, your family would be well known. Everybody knows the man with the wolfhounds. So, but you don't really know each other.
So Martin, what's all this about?
What is it you refer to? Are you talking about Jarek? He's just a friend traveling through. I told him that strangers aren't well received right now. He wanted to stay the night at the inn. I told him there are no rooms at the inn. I sent him packing.
I will kind of urging the dogs, give them the intention to move forward, not in an aggressive manner, but they are going to act as if I am taking a step forward in my presence. And
so they're
I'll
smelling his crotch, that kind of thing. Like
yeah,
when
they're
you're
kind
going
of
to
like
somebody's
leaning
house and
into
the dog
him,
smells your crotch.
what is this all about?
He kind of steps away from your hounds, lowers his torch. Could you ask your dogs to heel? And he basically tells you that Jarek, how can he say it? He's here to organize the pagans to protect themselves from these hating Christians.
Tell him that's a bad idea.
Did he bring arms?
Jarek, he has.
As I circle one direction and both the hounds are just kind of like walking around the room, I say,
he kind of backs away into a table. Again, keeping the torch rather low in case he has to wave it at your dogs. He has great help in doing so.
Does this have anything to do with Lord Mort?
He says yes. And now, you can put two and two together.
Yeah.
That wagon would feed a pretty good sized
chunk of people.
Group of people.
I say, you do understand why I am here, right?
No,
I
don't.
These are troubled times. They have sent me out here to find out what is going on. And now you are confessing to me that you are in league with our enemies.
But there has to be some leniency toward me for telling you what I know.
That wouldn't be up to me.
Will you not speak up on my behalf?
Yeah, you have no stable here, right?
No.
Martin, I'm a little disappointed.
Sylvester, I am only doing what I believe with my pagan belief in the Celtic origins of what I must do to protect pagans. If Von Mort is the necessary muscle to help, then we do what we must do. You have to understand that. You yourself, are you not? You aren't Christian, are you, Sylvester? Do you not care at all?
Oh, I care, but I still have orders to follow. And I give a whistle for Marcus to step out from up top.
Yeah, Marcus looks a bit shaken by all this. It's like suddenly it hits Marcus that there's a pagan army somewhere around here that might be Van Mort men. So he has this kind of pale look on his face.
I do one of these. I go, Marcus, and I pull back on the bow and I say, take heart. Yeah. Don't falter now. There's no army here. He's only a man.
So he comes down the stairs and joins you and the dogs once he is more comfortable.
I turn to Martin and I say, my orders are to bring you back to Dredgewater. You can either come as a friend, and I look at Martin and say that we can keep this conversation between us for now. Right, Martin?
Yes, I beg your leniency. I won't fight you.
I look at Marcus and I say,
but I do ask you to look in your heart. Do you think it's right the Christians have turned on the pagans?
I don't think it's right in any time like this that men would keep food from men and women who need it. But I turn to Marcus and look him in the face and say, do you understand what we are doing now?
Marcus, yes, sir. We're taking this man in.
We are, Marcus. But we're taking him in under silence right now. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, sir. You sense that he wavers, but the reminding that that he's got pockets full of food for his family and he will not turn on you.
With that, I say, Martin, gather your things. I trust that you understand that if you flee in the snow, that we will be able to find you, but you must come back to the stockade.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to fight you. I mean,
Okay.
you've got him. You've got 2 wolfhounds he knows he couldn't possibly escape from. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to march him back. But let's go over to Vidar. Vidar, your men ultimately run this poor wretch down. And they've got him basically pinned against the large tree. And they've surrounded him with the torches, and they're poking at him with their pitchforks and their staves and their hooks and their crooks.
I elbow my way in. Let's see what we got here.
Sylvester, really quick, tell me who Rolf is. He's a soldier under your guidance. How old is this kid?
Rolf is 14. He's of age, a scout in training.
Apprentice,
He is
right.
He is within the group, the squad, if you will, that I would normally kind of probably be sent out with.
Is he a brave kid, or is he a scared kid?
He's a bit timid. Yeah, he's still a little, especially this time of year. He understands how dangerous it is now, and it's danger enough when it is not winter, but even more so now.
Okay, I reach over there and grab his chin and pick him up and get a look at him. I mean, his quivering lip, it could be from the cold or from it's just but a boy. Where do you hail from, boy? I'm looking him over and backing up and looking at this.
I am of the scout squad. I am under Sylvester.
Right when he says Sylvester, my hand backs up off of his chin or whatever.
Okay.
You know where Sylvester is?
He says,
Why
yes,
did
I
you
left
run
him.
from us, boy?
I left him at Wash because he told me to avoid anyone on his way to get help at Dredgewater. And he's sweat. I mean, this kid is sweating. You've run him. Literally, you've treed this 14-year-old kid, right?
But he says Sylvester now.
vigilantes. And of course, they're barking, hang him, string him up. He's,
Hey,
maybe
quiet,
one or
quiet.
2 of them.
He
One or
knows
2 of them might
Sylvester.
recognize him.
He knows Sylvester's the one we seek. The one I told you about. You know what I mean? I'm harrying him like, shut
He's
up.
sweating, and he says, I was sent by Sylvester to get horses and men. We have found a large wagon full of food.
Okay, I calmed the obviously they're gonna hear this.
Once these vigilantes hear this, they start, hey,
Calm down. Yeah, horses, you say. You headed back to Dredgewater?
yes, we need to pull the wagon. It is a large wagon. It is full. We need some way to pull the wagon. He looks about. There are enough men here. We could pull the wagon with these men.
Where's this wagon located?
It is at the crossroads, Dredgewater Downs.
Lead quickly, boy. Let's see if we can
Okay.
I stop myself as I see he's sweating, and I've been around town a lot, so maybe I recognize it. I grab him by the scruff and then no, do as your master says. Go get the horses that way, and I point him. Hopefully,
Okay.
I know where I'm going. I push him on, and then we all laugh. And I said, "Let us go help Sylvester," and then we march off in that direction.
Let's narrate this. So ultimately, you arrive about the time Sylvester with his dogs is bringing Martin out.
Okay, once I recognize the dogs and Sylvester, whatever, I'm waving my arm in a big heart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And again, it's probably about 10 o'clock at night at this point, freezing cold.
If they got torches, that's what you're going to see us approaching
Right.
from that direction, Sylvester. So I'll be waving and calling out your name. You probably won't see me waving my arm. We come up enthusiastically, overjoyed almost. The men that are there are clamoring forward and wanting to see. They see the wagon, they see the food. It just starts a cumulative hope in them and rejoicing and renewed strength. They start getting around in positions around the wagon to start pulling because the boy said that they could pull the wagon, and they're eagerly saying like that. I'm looking at Sylvester. Shall we help pull the boy? We saw him. He's going to get the horses. Probably delay. He ran from us when we tried to find out what he was. That's what you. Yeah, I'm going off like
As I'm standing next to Vidit, and we see these guys all kind of like trying to position themselves on the wagon, I'll tap the end of my bow on one of their shoulders real quick, and I say, before we do this, fill your pockets now with food.
I turn around and but when you say this, I turn around and then almost bark the order to them,
Yeah.
like a second mouthpiece, and just fill your pockets with food. Do as he says.
Once they kind of all gather that stuff together, I'm going to turn to Martin and tell him that, when we return to Dredgewater, that there is a man that I'll want you to speak with. He's a man of the cloth, but he is not as heavy-handed as our priests have been within Dredgewater with the relationship that's been going on with the pagans. And I look at Vidit and say that once all these men have gathered food, you need to put the hay back. You need to make it look as if the wagon was untouched as much as possible, so that when the horses and everyone arrive and this all goes back, I point over at the body laying in the snow, and I'll take him over to it. I'll pull out my side sword and give the body a thrust, since he is already dead, and say that this is the man that I had killed, who was in possession of the wagon at the time. His cohort had ran off with the horses, and I could not stop them. Marcus and I took shelter in Washburn Arms. We saw a group coming the opposite direction from where you came from, but they split up. So the pagans have dispersed into the woods. It's what we need to tell John back at the barracks. Okay? But everybody here needs to take some kind of share to share out in the village. And then the rest of it, we're going to have to take back along with Martin. And I look at Martin and I say, is this fair enough to you?
I am under your leniency. I'm in no condition to argue with you.
I put my hand on Martin's shoulder and I say, leniency, we're coming back as friends, right, Martin? We are friends, right?
With this, he smiles, kind of looks at you quizzically, like, really? Yes, indeed. We have captured this wagon from von Mortzman. Now,
That's
do
my
you
story.
want to take the wagon back to
Yes, that's the goal.
Washburn, or do you want to take the wagon back to Dredgewater?
I want to take the wagon back to Dredgewater.
Okay.
That's why I sent Rolf off for the horses.
Gotcha.
When the men and the horses come back, we all get them in harness, go back to
Brilliant.
Dredgewater. But I definitely want to take Martin to see Brother Aelwald.
Okay. Go ahead, Dale.
Go ahead.
I would like to say that everything that you've said so far has been like a confirmation, almost a parting of the heavens, that I have found my new calling, because everything you're saying about hunting the pagans, I know that I can depend on you as a man to hunt down these pagans where Washburn's just been held up in his keep. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at you as like some kind of a rebel leader to take the actual man to take this over. Saddle up next to you as we're walking back. I pledge my allegiance to you.
You've convinced these folks, and you've convinced Vidar that you are a man worth following.
Yeah, I let you know that I've lost everything and almost lost my faith, and then but you've helped me find it as well as find the reason that I am here, a new reason for my existence.
You may be an old soldier, but you're still a soldier to me.
I clasped you around the back, cap you on the back a couple of times, and you can tell I'm bolstered by it. And I swing my axe up off the floor where I've been dragging it and put it on my shoulder, and I start, walking a little bit more.
Martin kind of whispers under his breath, following you guys as you're all working the wagons, horses, everybody's headed back. It's about midnight. You're all headed back to Dredgewater. Martin whispers to all of this, the Brotherhood of Pagans. Ironic.